On today's show, we are joined by Wes Carter, my attorney, who is also a partner with WintersKing.com. WintersKing.com is the law firm that represents everybody from Pastor T.D. Jakes to Pastor Craig Rochelle to Pastor Joyce Meyer. And they've actually represented Pastor Joel Osteen with his book deal. So on today's show, he's going to answer a legal question from a thriver out there just like you. And then we're going to interview the founder of an online faith-based platform known as Minnow. And this former Amazon executive is going to tell us what it's like to work directly with Jeff Bezos.
Did you say he worked directly with Jeff Bezos?
Yes, I did. I just said today's guest, Erick Goss, that's E-R-I-C-K. Goss is the former Amazon executive who worked directly with Jeff Bezos.
So I should pay attention to this one.
Well, I would argue that it would benefit you to pay attention to each and every one of the Thrive Time shows that you listen to.
Well, I would, but I can't.
Why not?
Well, it's hard for me to focus and take notes today.
Why?
Because I can't find my pencil or a writing device.
Well, where did you last put it? Where was the last time that you knew that you had your pencil or a writing device?
They were in my pants.
Why are you not wearing pants? This program is not an advertisement for legal services. Any discussion on the program involving legal issues is intended for general information purposes. No attorney-client relationship is established by listening to the program. This program is not a substitute for legal advice. You should contact a competent attorney for advice on your specific legal issues. Bonus Business Coach Clay Clark Life Tips. No coach-client relationship is established by listening to this program. This program is not a substitute for common sense. Please remember to look both ways when crossing the street. If you discover that your clothing is burning, stop, drop, and roll. If you get upset with someone about their driving, don't chase them around through town. Don't sleep with someone that you just met. Don't sleep with someone I just met? Don't sleep with someone I just met? Where'd that rash come from? Don't spit into the wind. Don't get a regrettable tattoo on your face and act like it doesn't impact your ability to get a job. Don't show up late for things. Don't debate politics on Facebook. Don't go to Shell bathrooms. Say yes. Say thank you. Don't debate religion at work and drink responsibly. Don't text and drive or have 3 wives. Thank you. You smell terrific. Wes, do you endorse all that? We had to get the legal disclaimers out there. Yeah. You can't just have Wes Carter on a show, an attorney at law, without having some disclaimers. Do you?
I saw him wince when the 3 wives comment came
He's
up
like,
there.
really?
I saw him like, I do a physical wince.
I wholeheartedly endorse the entire first half of that intro.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cue up an audio. We have a listener out there in California.
All right.
Who has a question. And without any further ado, let me hit play on the question from a listener out there by the name of Alex, I believe.
Hello, Clay. This is Alex Clark from Southern California. I am reaching out in regards to business formation. A few years back, I just went on LegalZoom and shot in the dark and ended up forming a LLC. Since then, I've restructured it with CPAs and things like that I've since moved on from. What I'm coming to discover is I'm not even quite sure if my business is legally and properly set up. I'm not even sure if I have business licenses or if I need business licenses or have the right business licenses. So now, after doing business for a few years and able to live off the business and grow a little, I want to make sure my business is reputable, scalable, and of course, completely legal in the eyes of the U.S. and California. How do I do this? Thank you.
Wes Carter, my friend. Wow. That is a detailed question from a thriver out there. I think a lot of listeners can relate to that. I think the world of law and order can be a little bit confusing. So, Wes, without any further ado, what is your answer for this thriver?
Well, our thriver mentioned licenses specifically. He said he reorganized his LLC, so we're just going to have to assume his CPAs helped him get that done correctly. But I think there's kind of a good general advice here that I can touch on a few points that'll help him and probably some of our listeners as well. So it varies from state to state, but in California, there's business licenses, and these are licenses to engage in certain industries, certain kinds of businesses. Now, where it gets complicated is some of the licenses you get from the state, Some you get from the county, some you get from the city. So sometimes when you organize your LLC or you incorporate a corporation, states have gone digital now, and when you register the business online, they'll automatically walk you through what kind of licenses you need. California even has its own website that you can go in, put the type of business, the city you're in, and it will list potential licenses you need for that city, that county, and then also from the state. So there's no way to know exactly which licenses anyone needs without knowing the type of business, the city, the county. It's something you have to really dig into to know for sure. The other thing that I would mention is, some people just don't realize that as far as registering with the state, you incorporate usually with the Secretary of State. That's the paper pusher of the state agencies. But you also usually need to register for income or franchise tax, for sales tax, for use tax, payroll accounts, so you can do your payroll withholdings for your employees. So there's a whole nother list of steps that you have to go through on the tax side specifically that our listener needs to make sure he's walked through and registered so that he's withholding the proper things. If you're selling something, that you're collecting sales tax from your customers and turn around and pay the state the sales tax. A biggie that has personal liability if you mess it up is the payroll tax, that if I'm paying an employee, I have to withhold income tax from them, hold it in trust, hold it, and then turn it over and pay it to the state and the feds. And if I don't do that right, that's something that no matter what kind of proper corporation or LLC structure you have, the governments will hold you personally liable for those.
Z, I want to get your take on this as we wrap up today's show. As an entrepreneur who started off as an optometrist, but you've always been an entrepreneur trapped inside of that optometrist body.
Just trying to break out.
Talk to me about this. There's somebody out there listening right now.
Okay.
Saying, I can't afford to hire an attorney right now because ABC 1, 2, 3. Do you believe that is ever an accurate statement, or do you believe that every entrepreneur out there needs to have a once over, at least a deep dive one time from an attorney to look at everything to make sure they're properly calibrated, they're properly licensed? Do you believe every entrepreneur needs to do that at least once, or do you believe that there is a valid time where you say, well, I don't have enough money to do that, and you just kind of mail it in? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think a couple things. One, the definition of having your own attorney is a process. And I think everybody, if you're an entrepreneur, should go in. A lot of these attorney firms, I know Wes Carter's firm does this, will allow you to come in, no charge, and have a certain set of, how much time do you give someone to come in and interview you as the potential attorney?
We do free 15-minute consultations.
Okay, there you go. So you can do these consultations, kind of bounce around town. Maybe your friend knows maybe this, maybe that. You kind of, here's some referral, your network, however you find them, bounce around, go meet some guys, gals, whoever, and then say, you know what, this person I like, we get along with. And now, yes, to answer your question, though, a little bit of money spent up front can save a lot of money in the end. I know that things set up correctly the first time can save you a lot of money to have to fix it after a long time.
A little bit of money up front,
right,
can save a lot of money in the end.
Right. And but the first step is having someone you can call your guy. Like Wes, he's my guy. He's my guy. He's gonna call my guy. And then what happens is having them check under the hood, make sure everything's copacetic, everything's on high and tight. Then what happens is you now have a relationship. And that relationship with an attorney is very important, because if you're an entrepreneur and you're successful and you're one of those companies that hopefully is going to make it and roll on and make some what we call money or profit.
I've heard about that.
I know. It's a crazy concept.
The
I know.
old profit game.
I know. The whole kind of profit gang. Unfortunately, in this world, you might need an attorney because somebody wants some of that money and they want it in a particular way. And what I'm talking about is a lawsuit. And so having a relationship, having someone that's already kind of come in, checked your foundation. When you buy a house, you get it inspected. And there's a reason why you get it inspected, Clay. And you may say, well, I can't afford an inspection. Yes, you can. You can afford to have your business inspected and make sure the foundation is good. Now, you're going to build on top of that. You're going to build your business on top of that. But then to have a guy that is your inspector, your attorney that comes in and says, hey, everything's good. We've done everything. We've crossed all the T's. We've dotted all the I's. You're golden. I've researched it. Your business model needs this, and this, and you have them. Check. You're good. Go rock on with it. And then whenever you do need them in some capacity, now you have a relationship with them.
I love to tell my clients, I say, it's better to have a bad day than a bad life. The bad day, and I'm not trying to speak negatively about Wes Carter, the bad day is when you hire an attorney.
Yeah.
Because it's not aligned with your vision. It's not exciting.
That wasn't part of your business plan. You turn into the bank.
Most people don't even factor in legal expenses
I'm going to hire
into
a lot of attorneys because I'm going to get sued.
Most entrepreneurs, you never see a line item on their budget for legal fees, ever. So you're kind of going, hey, I wanted to just sell burgers. I wanted to sell production. I wanted to be a disc jockey. I'm going to clean carpet. And then all of a sudden you go, how much are you guys? And they say, it's not free. And you're like, what? Are you kidding me?
What?
Not free? I thought information was free. And then somebody should read this article. I'll put a link to it on today's show notes. Title, this is from Forbes. Forbes, by the way, the Business Bible. They say, it says this is the title of the article. It says, you're going to get sued. Here's how to not get screwed.
Oh, that's a good title.
And it explains that right now, the statistics that they can find is that 36 to 53% of small businesses are involved in one piece of litigation right now. 36 to 53 right now.
Currently.
Right. Not the life of the corporation right now as we
currently.
sit
And it
oh
says
my gosh.
And it says 90% of all businesses, not just small, but big businesses, are involved in litigation. So you want to have that conversation, not out of desperation, but out of proactivity. You don't want to have a conversation out of desperation when you're looking for an attorney. That's like needing to get married about an hour before the wedding. It's like, I need to get married. Is somebody around? That's like that 1 hour Britney Spears marriage.
If you get a lawsuit, you've got 20 days to respond. So
it's not a good time to be interviewing.
In the 3 days you're crying before you even read what's going on.
Right, exactly.
And then it's a weekend, and now you're getting whoever you can get your hands on.
Right, exactly.
And that is not the way to do it.
And that's not the way to do it. So find somebody, get a relationship. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to have a business, find someone, build a relationship, and while you're at it, you can build that relationship by having them check under the hood, make sure everything's high and tight with all your business endeavors, and that's the paperwork, all that you're doing. It's really important to know that you know even what you don't know. A lot of people are like, I just don't, I open a business. I mean, how much more difficult is that?
It makes it more likely that when you have those quick questions, you already have a relationship. So I don't understand this paragraph in this contract. Will you, let me email it to you.
Right.
Those 10-minute questions that can also save a ton of money.
True.
But if you have that relationship, it opens up those quick little questions that can save a lot of time too.
Right.
Now, let me say this, a little segue. This is something the listeners might not know. See, we're going to interview a guy right now by the name of Erick Goss. Now, Erick Goss is a former Amazon executive who just founded a platform called Minnow. It's a digital lifestyle company for Christian parents and families. And there's a Hollywood Reporter story about it. You can read it. Now, Z, is it okay if I call him right now?
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to call him right now. It's a good ring.
Thank you for calling.
Here we go.
Erick Goss.
Please hold while I try to connect
Get a
you.
disco ball in the man cave.
Oh,
yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Come on
I don't know if I
now.
want him to pick up.
Come on now.
Oh.
No, don't answer, Eric yet. Let me get a little bit of my groove on. Oh.
Ends with beginnings.
Oh.
Yeah.
What keeps the planet spinning?
Oh.
Yes, sir. For some reason,
yes.
I was doing, it's like flying the Starship Enterprise here, and I was hitting all the wrong buttons.
He was not a good solo.
And I called to my the engineering department, and my version of Scotty,
I'm
Dr.
giving you all the
Zellner
powder
here,
I can,
he fixed it.
Captain.
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. If I push it any harder, the whole thing will blow.
I can hear you incredibly well. Can you hear me fine?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. And how long do we have you? I want to respect your time.
You got me. Actually, you kind of got me as long as you need me. So,
be
you're my
careful.
last
Very
meeting today, so
dangerous.
it's good.
Eric, you might regret that statement.
That's how my wife and I got married. I did a quick 10-minute interview with her. Next thing you know, we're married.
Boom, 5 kids later. Bam.
Well, Eric,
Yeah, there you go.
on today's show, I want to introduce you properly to the Thrive Nation. You've started this thing called Minnow, which is a digital lifestyle company for Christian parents and families. And most of our listeners are Judeo-Christian in their beliefs. Could you kind of explain what Minnow is?
Yeah, Minnow is a digital media platform for Christian families and families who value faith. And so it really is comprised of sort of 3 kind of ways that we serve families. The first is a video streaming platform. It's sort of like Netflix for Christian kids. The second is we've got a book publishing program. So we publish books, and probably our most famous book is the Laugh and Learn Bible for Kids, which the VeggieTales creator Phil Vischer wrote. And then we've got a blog parenting resource site called Minnow Live, where we're really trying to serve Christian parents, helping them kind of navigate all the crazy decisions and kind of crazy issues that are popping up in today's culture as you're trying to raise kids.
Tell us about. I want to go through all 3 of these. Tell us about this this Bible that's funny. Tell us about this. How does that work?
Yeah, so there are a lot of great children's Bibles in the marketplace today. But as we looked at the marketplace and we're thinking about, what would be a great way to serve families, so many parents are looking for a way they're looking for a way to connect their kids to the Bible. And a lot of the children's Bibles that are in the marketplace are beautiful and parents love them, but they're actually not made for kids. They're actually made for the parents to read with the kids. And we really wanted to do a children's Bible that kids could enjoy by themselves. It doesn't just look fun, but it actually reads fun. But then it also has enough resources that it can help parents connect with their kids. Because a lot of parents actually feel pretty uncomfortable talking about the Bible with their kids. And so so when you look at that children's Bible, the Laugh and Learn Bible for Kids, we've got 52 Bible stories, and at the end of every Bible story, we have a family connection point that really gives parents the opportunity to ask their kids some questions, to say a prayer, and to really focus on kind of what can I take out of this and what can I talk to my child about. Because we really think, most parents are really looking for connection points where they can have deeper conversations with their kids. As a parent, I'm a dad of 3 girls. You can really easily get into managing kids and not connecting with them. And so we really wanted to make the children's Bible a way to help expose families to the Bible, but also to help parents and kids connect.
When and where did you get the idea to start the website gominnow.com? Tell us about the genesis of this Bible-based online platform.
Yeah, so I started my career in the Navy and was at Amazon in the early days, and got to work as a chief marketing officer for an e-commerce company here in Nashville, and met a guy who asked me to kind of come alongside and help him think about, how to enter the media space and how to serve faith-based audience. And as I worked with him, we actually started working with Phil Vischer, who created VeggieTales. And Phil had a great idea to do a DVD series called Buck Denver Ask What's in the Bible. And we helped Phil build that series out, and it was very successful. But in the process, what we recognized is parents wanted more content. They wanted more than just sort of what's in the Bible. But then we actually talked to a lot of folks who are trying to create content for Christian families, and they really didn't know how to go to market because Christian retail, that had historically been the platform to reach families, was really not doing well and was really going away. And so I spent a lot of time in the early days of Amazon working on a lot of the digital media strategies of like, okay, as Amazon, how do we want to go to market? How can we serve people digitally? And so thinking through it, I'm like, I think it makes a lot of sense to actually have a platform where it can be a lot like Netflix, where everybody knows Minnow, and they know that's where I go find the great content for my kids, and that we can curate content and we can create content specifically for Christian families, because oftentimes families are really perplexed about where do I go find great stuff. And we really wanted to be that destination. So when a Christian parent was like, hey, I really want great content for my kids, I just go to Minnow. And so that was really the idea of what can we do to build a streaming platform that can really solve that problem for parents who are looking for content that really, communicates their values, where they're not having to look over their child's shoulder all the time.
How early?
And that's that's the feedback we get is, man, Minnow is a place I can finally relax.
How early were you with the Amazon team? Were you with Jeff in his garage? Were you harassing his parents for money?
Were you delivering drone packages?
Were you handwriting the first books he sold? I mean, how early were you at Amazon?
Yeah, so when I got there, I was probably in like the employee number around sort of close to the 2000s. But most of the folks that worked at Amazon were warehouse staff at that time.
Yeah.
There were about 300 people at corporate. And so
Wow.
I knew the executive team well and bumped into them and had the privilege of getting yelled at by Jeff many times.
Oh, cool.
Hey, what's it like to be in an office with Jeff Bezos? I think a lot of people know, they hear the name Jeff Bezos. Right away they start getting into net worth conversations. They start thinking about, and they start to say, that guy, I mean, there's all these stories that come out. If Jeff Bezos dropped $100, it doesn't make sense for him to pick it up because he just earned – the guy's worth $116.2 billion, but he's also human. What was it like to work in an environment with Jeff Bezos?
Well, it was early days, so it was very intense. And I think, if Jeff has a reputation about those early days, it is his intensity. But Jeff is brilliant. And honestly, my time at Amazon is very formative to how I run my company today as a CEO. And the thing I loved about Jeff and what I learned from him is he has the ability to take apart a business or an industry in a meeting and understand what the first principles are and how do you win. And so I would see him in different categories and talking to different executives, and he was really good at asking questions and really understanding because he's innately curious. He really wants to understand, how do things work and how do you win in this marketplace? And the other thing that I really took away from my time working with him was he doesn't really have a lot of patience for middle management. Like what he would say is, like, I don't like people who manage in the middle. I want people who manage meta and micro. And the idea there is, in a digital environment, small decisions have huge impacts because they're scalable. And so the example I give about micro is one of the employees when we were at All Hands was complaining about why is Jeff actually editing the copy for Super Saver shipping. We were launching kind of the free shipping over $25. And Jeff said, look, every customer that touches our website is going to see that. And that's probably going to cost us tens of millions of dollars. And so that is the absolute right use of my time as a CEO. And he would also believe that, like, if you don't understand the details and sort of the nuances of your business, it is very difficult for you to understand the strategy. And then at the big picture, at the meta is, how do I really understand to navigate the industry, and how do I understand what my opportunities are and where do I want to go? And so what I find, like, it's real easy as you get promoted or as you're CEO of a company to not think about the details. But oftentimes it's in those details, it's in the customer conversations that happen in call centers or over email, or it's in the analytics that give you the insights to actually understand what the opportunity is for the customer. And so he is an incredible individual. He's put together an incredible team and he's built an incredible company. So I have a ton of respect for him and feel very privileged to have been in that environment. And he really created what I call kind of a digital culture, which is everything can be measured, and everything that can't be measured, let's try to figure out how we can evaluate whether it's going well or going poorly. And so I really took that with me of, okay, what do we do to build out the algorithm? What do we do to build out the mathematical model of the business, and really understand what are the levers that we can do to create value? And so it was a real privilege to be there. And, if I shared with you kind of all the people I worked with as colleagues, I'd be naming, the executive teams at Uber, at Hulu, at Google, at Facebook.
Super cool.
I mean, it was a really interesting time to be there.
Thrive Time show now.
If you were to name drop the biggest people we've worked with, you'd say, Dr. Zelda would be my
probably Thrive Time show.
Back to you, Dr. Zelda.
So, Eric, all our listeners are very curious people. Maybe not as curious as Jeff Bezos, but they're curious. And everybody's Googling your name right now. And I find it fun. I have an older brother named Eric, and he always fussed because he's E-R-I-K. And so many people are E-R-I-C. And I love you because you've got them both. You do E-R-I-C-K. So everybody out there Googling right now, it's E-R-I-C-K and then Goss, G-O-S-S. Am I right or am I wrong?
You are right. As I say, I'm not an either-or kind of guy. I'm both.
You're both, exactly. That's what I love about it. I don't know that I've ever met an Eric
I never have. This is the first time.
First time,
I'm
but
gonna
with
put
a C
this
and a
down
K.
on the
I mean,
record.
he's like, his parents were like, "Are we going to go C or a K?" And they looked at each other and said, "You know what? This kid's got a lot going for him. We can just tell. Just give him both."
Almost 2,000
I mean,
shows.
just-
We've never interviewed an Eric with a E-R-I-C-K.
Never, not once.
I'm booing all the.
I'm booing our show.
I'm
I
booing
mean,
our show. It's been a
there's
show
gotta be-
that we
Maybe
really
he's
missed
the only one
ball.
out there. I don't know.
Okay,
He
well,
could be. He might be.
We move on.
We move on. But I tell you what now, and Minnow, for those of you out there, are people are Googling right now. They're looking. They're on their computers.
Yep.
It's MINN, just O, not the
G-O,
W. Take the don't even think.
M-I-N-N-O. G-O-M-I-N-N-O. Wes Carter, you are an attorney. Eric, Wes is an attorney. His law firm, wintersking.com. That's wintersking.com. They represent Brother T.D. Jakes, Pastor T.D. Jakes.
Mm-hmm.
They represent maybe some good networking opportunities for you guys. They represent Craig
Yeah,
Rochelle
that sounds great.
with Life Church, and they have represented in the past Joel Osteen's book deals, and they do represent Joyce Meyer, and just a lot. I mean, huge names in that Christian literary space.
Yeah.
Wes, I'm sure you've got a ton of questions here. This is, and by the way, you guys are going to be talking offline. I can tell.
Well, one of the questions I have is, obviously you've Minnow's Launchpad seems to be a huge library of VeggieTales, which is just a wonderful, popular, faith-based programming. But from your entrepreneurial spirit, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that's not all you have in plans for Minnow. I'm wondering, can you share with us, maybe give us some secrets as to what the future holds for Minnow as you expand your programming and your library and kind of where you're taking this thing?
Yeah, so VeggieTales I think is very important to the Christian audience, and I've often said, when you talk about Christian children's content, it's sort of VeggieTales and everything else. Like there's a sense that VeggieTales is that unique and special. At the same time, it's over 25 years old, and so it's been around. It's a nostalgia brand for a lot of parents, and they want to share that with their kids, and we love VeggieTales. At the same time, when we look at what the opportunity is for the Christian audience, not just in the United States, but globally, there's such a blank canvas for the type of shows that are available. And so we've got a number of great shows on our platform now that are done by new creators, like I think about Ryan DeFreitas and Allegories, that are shows that are in work that people are building out and doing good work around. It's just there's not been a great platform for people to find out about them. But honestly, there are a ton of people out there who want to make content for the faith-based audience that just don't have a way to go to market, because you could actually have an idea for a show that's even better than VeggieTales today, and there would be no way for you to get to market because there's no one to fund it. You'd actually have to go raise that money and build it out, but then you would have to figure out how to distribute it because there's no one who's actually interested in carrying your product,
right?
Because Netflix, Amazon, Hulu. And so our vision is really, what can we do to build a world-class platform that can aggregate as large an audience as possible, and at the same time bring world-class creators who care about that audience to create for them. And so we're talking to a number of creative networks, both in New York and Los Angeles, where that tends to be where a lot of the best creatives are in children's media. But we're also talking to teams across the country about what can we do to start scaling and ramping up original content for children, because we really feel like there's a huge opportunity, but we've really had to get the platform in place. So much of our strategy has been, let's validate that there's an audience. Let's make sure that there's a financial opportunity. Yeah. Once we validate and verify that, then let's go and start investing more funds in creating original content. Part of it's really about, in many ways, it's good business practice and good stewardship. We don't want to go spend a lot of money around something that no one wants. And so, so we feel like we've been able to validate that there's a huge opportunity out there. The key now is, what can we do to ramp up programming for Christian kids? And we feel like, again, there are a lot of people who are interested in doing that, but we in many ways, we're creating the opportunity for them to actually have a business and to do what they're passionate about.
For our listeners that are curious, a lot of them are driving right now, but when they get to a place where they can stop and look at GOMINNO.com, it's $6.99 a month, right? $6.99 a month. There's also an annual option there. Does it operate? Does it feel like Netflix on the back end when you log in? Does it feel like Netflix? Does it feel like Hulu? What does it feel like once you get inside behind the payment wall?
Yeah, so the Minnow Kids, our streaming platform, I think does feel a lot like Netflix Kids. And so I think it's not going to be unfamiliar. In many ways, we've tried to actually keep a lot of the same design patterns in place. So when people go on to Minnow, that it feels very comfortable. The one thing that's unique is it's a kids-only platform. So we built it with kids first and foremost in mind. And that is what's unique and different, because a lot of the other platforms, kids are secondary audiences. And so we built this with a kids-first mindset. And so when parents have their kids, when parents bring this to their kids or turn it on, or kids turn it on, we curate and we watch everything. And so even with a platform like Netflix and even Disney Plus, there's a sense that parents don't feel like they can just let their kids watch it without sort of supervision. And that's what's unique about Minnow. And we also have apps. So we're on iOS, we're on Apple devices, we're on Droid devices, and we're on Amazon Fire as well as Roku. And so we also have an app experience, not just the web experience.
How are you marketing Minnow? Are you speaking at churches? Are you networking with churches? Are you doing a lot of search engine optimization? Is it all of the above? What's the primary ways you're getting out?
Maybe some billboards here and there.
Billboards. I mean,
direct mailing.
Direct
I don't know.
Homing pigeons, smoke signals. What are the top ways that you're marketing the Minnow product?
Yeah, so we just launched in the middle of November, and so and we did a lot of beta testing prior to that. And so I'd say, today it's actually pretty hard not to go to market without using Facebook and Google. So we absolutely are doing performance marketing on the Facebook ad platform and Google ad platform. But we also look at referral marketing, building affiliates, building partnerships. I wouldn't say that we've kind of rolled that out in mass quite yet. We're right in the process of actually, what does it mean to scale marketing, and what does it mean to build the Minnow network? But to date, it's been primarily finding brand ambassadors who care about what we're doing and want to share it with their friends and family. And then what can we do to best leverage Facebook and Google?
There's people out there listening. We have a lot of families that listen, husbands and wives that have kids, and they're hardworking entrepreneurs. They don't mind paying for something, but we need a little bit of a kind of like a sales pitch.
That'd be nice.
We need a little pitch. We kind of are going,
I'm driving by the billboard, and what does it say?
I bought the Tybo thing. I was a good pitch. I bought the George Foreman thing. It was a good pitch, and I like the George Foreman thing, but I had to get the pitch first.
Well, you cook bacon on it.
Do you have a hot pitch? Do you have a hot? I mean, what's the no-brainer? The elevator pitch? Why should everybody check out this incredible platform?
Well, we would say it's a place where, for Christian families, it's a place where kids can find stories that they love with the values that parents care about. And there are very few places that Christian families can go and find that it is okay to be who they are, and find programming that is going to support what they think is important. And we've done a lot of work to basically make sure that is a world-class experience for Christian families, because so often parents, when you talk to them, they feel compromised as soon as they turn on a media platform. And what I say is, we are not doing our job if we get a parent to neutral. We have to get Christian kids to, hey, I love this, and screen time is meaningful. And so at Minnow, we really are about what can we do to make screen time an asset to a family versus a liability or something that you're feeling is a compromise. And when you talk to our customers and you get that feedback, what you recognize is we're actually giving them a sense of liberty, but they actually are making choices that are consistent with their values. And it's not an issue of compromise, because we don't feel like Christian families need to compromise. They need the choice that they can say, yes, this reflects what I care most deeply about in the world. And so Minnow is one of the few places online that parents can find that choice and have it available to them.
Now, when you talk about kids, what's your target age here? What's the age that really is functional on GoMinnow.com?
Yeah, I'd say Minnow Kids is primarily set up for preschool to fifth grade, and we've got content that actually serves kind of that broad age group. And a lot of families have multiple kids, and so you may have a preschool brother and a early elementary school sister.
Sure.
They're going to be able to find programming that they like on Minnow.
So do you have a rollout for teens coming, or what's your future plans for Minnow?
Yeah, so I think long term we'd like to offer that. We actually have a lot of parents who are already asking for that, who have become subscribers. I think our primary focus right now is really going to be, stick to our knitting and focus on that's preschool to 5th grade, with the expectation that we'll focus here domestically in the U.S. and then also begin to look at global, because even though we've only been out a few weeks, we actually have subscribers in over 40 countries globally.
Cool.
And so I think there's a real opportunity for us to actually serve the church globally. But once we start kind of building and getting more momentum, we'd love to be able to serve teens. Teens is such a different market because in many ways, parents are making choices for children under the age of 10. But once you start getting in that kind of 9 to 10 range, the kids are making their media choices. And so you've got to take a different approach. And we're not quite mature enough, I think, to dive into that and address that issue as much as we'd like to, because I think there's a strong need there. But we're just not set up today to go do that.
Is that on your bucket list of things to do? I mean, is that something you want to do, you're going to do?
Want.
Yeah, I'd say aspirational. If you think direction, that we'd love to do that, because it's. I often say we're trying to be an impresario. So an impresario is someone who runs a show venue where they're bringing in groups, and then they're promoting and trying to get an audience. And what I think what my vision and desire is what can we do to bring the best content to the largest audience possible. And so as you think about that, we absolutely would love to do ages and stages. But we've got to, if we don't succeed in preschool to 5th grade, the company's not going to work.
Eric, where are you guys based?
We are in Nashville on Music Row.
Before, Wes has a great question for you. And I hate to, I hate to overhype my questions. You know me. I would never want to overhype my questions.
I don't think you've ever done that.
But I would like to give an idea, Eric, for you as we're talking about potential, aspirational expansion ideas. Z, you brought up the kind of practical idea of teens, but here's a niche market that I feel like you should go after we dominate the kids market and then the teens market. See, this is the market I want to go after.
Well, sure. Let's hear it.
These are people that are so old that they no longer care what you think about what they post on Facebook, but technically savvy enough to post, and they refer to it as
able to physically post something.
The Facebook. So they call it the Facebook. So as an example, they'll be watching the news, and President Trump Tastic will say something, or Obama will say something, or somebody said something who's in charge of something or was in charge of something.
Or was. Yeah.
And they will go on the Facebook, and they will post something before thinking about the consequences of the post, nor do they care about the post, and they refer to all millennials as those people.
Yes.
And that
they are those people, by the way.
And then your show could be live streaming, showing the best of the worst posts of this group.
Oh my God.
And this could be, and it could just be called the Facebook.
Eric, run from that idea.
This could
Don't
be
walk. Run.
It is powerful. It will bring America together by dividing us.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it does.
It doesn't make sense.
So how much capital are you willing to contribute?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Eric. Put your money where your mouth is. Now we're talking.
What inspired?
Now we're talking.
What inspired this is Ricky Gervais, his Golden Globe monologue. Was epic.
Oh,
and I was thinking,
how many times they bleep him? I mean, oh my goodness,
no filter anymore. So anyway, the Facebook. That's the plan C. Once you can nail down the kids, the wholesome family values, then we move on to the teens. Wes Carter, back to you.
Yeah, follow that up. Well, first, let me start by saying I'm as soon as we get off the show, I'm going to go to Amazon or whatever portal I choose to use and get one of those Laugh and Learn Bibles, because last week, you don't know this, Eric, I have a 5-year-old and 8-year-old girl. So we're at Books A Million as we're shopping over the holidays. The same girls, both 5 and 8? Yes, it's a weird time warp thing.
Okay, sorry.
And so we're looking at Bibles, and I'm like, oh, check out this awesome action Bible.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, cool to me as a guy, but it's like a Batman graphic novel kind of drawing.
That's awesome, Bible. That's awesome.
Right. But my 8-year-old girl is like, why? That doesn't look fun at all.
It's the best
so I look
Bible
at the Laugh and Learn Bible. It's a great idea, great product that you're selling at the Minnow store there for Minnow Kids as well. I have a kind of off-the-wall question here. I know there aren't a lot of players in this market, but, there's some other, I'm assuming, competitors out there doing some similar things, maybe not on the scale that you're gearing up for, but we've talked about this on the show before, where we can have faith-based businesses and still make a profit, and still compete in the marketplace and still demand excellence. So I'm curious, can you give us an insight into your strategy to dominate this specific little niche here? I mean, I'm sure you have other people that have done this before or are doing this now. What's kind of your idea here, from a businessman's perspective to dominate this market?
Dominate.
Yeah, it's interesting you asked the question, Wes, because there's part of me, like my entrepreneur strategy mindset is like, okay, I know the answer to that question, but I'd say that the kind of the part that drives me at this point is really kind of what is God calling us to?
Yeah.
And really understanding what's the business that he wants us to build. And granted, like I was very successful early in my career in the Navy and then at Amazon. And then, I ended up being a chief marketing officer for an e-commerce company where I actually did a great job, but I ended up getting fired because the CEO didn't like me. He actually couldn't stand me. And then I ended up being involved in in a couple of early stage companies where I was on kind of the verge of bankruptcy. And so there's one sense where the opportunity to actually be in a position where we can build a successful company to me is a huge gift, and I don't take it for granted. And I do think there's opportunity for us to build a global brand that can be a dominant company. But I also recognize like building a good company that's profitable is a great gift and is rarely done. And so as I kind of look at kind of where we can go, the thing that I feel like is most important is how can we first serve Christian families in the best way possible? And if we win, I love what Seth Godin says is oftentimes you can't outthink the competition, you have to outlove them. And I think for us, it's what can we do to really understand the problems that Christian parents are dealing with? Because, I think about this every day, but I always say, dad's coming in late from work, mom is making dinner, the kids are frustrated. And the last thing that mom or dad are thinking is, what can we do to actually help our kids better understand what it means to know Jesus and to love one another? They're in survival mode. And what we really want to do is create a platform where in many ways we say internally is like, what can we do to make it just press play? What can we do to create a user experience that's fantastic, that comes alongside and makes mom and dad a hero and really gives children a Christian imagination? Like, who can I be and what can I become by knowing that there's a God who loves me? And so, as I think going forward, we've got to be technically excellent. And, the great news is I spent 7 years at Amazon working with some of the best and brightest in e-commerce. I know what that looks like, and I know what the people look like that we have to bring on board, and I understand the type of culture we have to create and the type of rigor and the type of bar that we have to set for ourselves to be able to be excellent, not just within the faith-based market, but in the market in general. Because my perspective is, we have to hit this bar of excellence. There's a bar of excellence and expectation that has to be hit. And you can't, because for many millennial Christians, I know as an entrepreneur and someone trying to build this company, as soon as I see it's a Christian streaming company, they assume that it's not as good. It's mediocre. Yeah. It's not going to be as smart. It's not going to be informed. And so that's with my core customer. That's not with someone. No,
you're what you just said. I want to real quick. I want to share this. This is a funny story. I got to be I have to be so careful as I tell this story. So careful. We have a person who reached out to us to be on the show a couple years back who was a Christian musician during the time that I grew up. Yes. I won't mention male or female, just a Christian musician. And I was a DJ. That's how I made my initial mark on the planet there, Eric. I grew America's largest wedding DJ company. We were doing like 4,000 weddings a year, DJconnection.com. So I grew up listening to Dr. Dre and SWV and TLC and hip-hop stuff. I'm listening to really well-produced stuff, L.A. Reid, Tony Braxton, Boyz II Men. And I remember a family member bought me tickets to go see this individual at the Mabee Center. And I was excited to go to a concert, but I'd already seen the best the world had, so to speak. And when I went to the concert and I saw how bad the music was, how bad the T-shirts were, how disorganized, in comparison to the secular concerts, I thought, I'm not down with this. So as a teenager, I was like set back. I mean, you know what I mean? I just was so disappointed by the Christian music, and it was like that for everything I could find. It was like, this is just terrible. I don't want to listen to second-class music. And that's what excites me so much about what you're doing right now and what Kanye West is doing. Because Kanye's performance at Joel Osteen's church, Lakewood, was epic. And the choir arrangements were awesome. The music videos are great. And he's bringing that excellence. You guys are bringing that excellence. There's so many great Christian things that are hitting the marketplace. But I felt bad because we had this person wanting to reach out to us, Wes, to be a guest on the show. And when John told me who it was, I said, oh, no. They set music back 20 years.
Oh, no.
So I'm excited that you're putting quality first here. Do you have an ask for our listeners today? Do you want everyone just to go do a trial, try it out? Should they? What is the action step you would like the Thrive Nation to take today on this special occasion?
Yeah, so I'd say there are two things. One is go check out gominno.com, GOMINNO.com, and or go to your favorite app store and search for Minnow Kids and give us a try. And so it's a 1-week free trial, and it's $6.99 a month or $69 annually, and try out the app. The second is go to Amazon or your favorite bookseller and check out the Laugh and Learn Bible for Kids. I know you'll be blessed by it, and it's a great Bible to share with your kids. But if you don't have kids, or you even just want to share it with others, we have people who are actually buying them by the carton load. We had one person who actually bought 100 of them to distribute at their local church. And so, and if you check out Amazon, it's got like 148, it's 5-star reviews. I mean, Phil Vischer did an incredible job on it, and it's great. But yeah, check us out and give it a trial. See what you think about the app. See what you think about the book, and then if you're a parent who's looking for resources, check out Minnow Life and see if there's some advice there. We've got a lot of expert voices that we've brought together to be able to really help Christian families who are kind of dealing with the key questions that are really perplexing. As what does it mean to be a Christian, at this time and place?
You are a very proactive guy. Obviously, you've done well with your career. How do you organize the first 4 hours of each day?
Yeah, so the first 4 hours, I'm big on process and routine. I'm about habits, and so pretty much every morning I'm up generally around 5. I work out. I kind of work through priorities for the day and what the goals and objectives are. I try to set aside time on a weekly basis where I'm setting kind of a weekly plan. And then I use a lot of processes. There's a book that I use a lot in kind of practice called Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. And so like when you start talking about how I organize the first 4 hours of my day, a lot of that's personal, of working out, being in the Word and praying and thinking through priorities. But then a lot of that's actually, I do a daily huddle with my team where we go through what everybody's priorities are for the day. What is the news of the day? What are their numbers? And what are their roadblocks? And, that kind of sets us up kind of ready to go in the morning. And so, that's typically my routine. But I find I have to spend time with the Lord to understand what He wants me to do today. But I also need to get that workout in to sort of get the blood flowing. And then, and I also have the opportunity to drop my kids off at school. And so I love that time in the car, even though it's brief, just to be able to connect with them and talk to them about what they're looking forward in the day.
You are absolutely a ray of light, and I appreciate you working so hard to protect the eyes and ears of our children with your new platform here, GoMinnow.com. And again, we can, on behalf of all the listeners out there, we can't thank you enough for what you're building here, and can't thank you enough for your time on today's show.
Oh, thanks. Well, we're grateful to have the opportunity, and I just check us out. For your listeners out there, check us out, see what you think, and give us feedback. And so, as I would say, to the degree that you can let us know what you think we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, I always say that, we are the worst that we will be today.
Okay.
So
I love that.
We need all the feedback we can get, because it's always going to be better tomorrow if we're making the right decisions today.
There you go.
And so, we'll take all the feedback we can get. We love to hear it, and we live off of it.
Brother, thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day out there in Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
being on, Eric. Did great.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom! What if you could gain access to download each and every book that I've ever written for free?
Well, that'd be terrible because I don't like you.
Okay, we're making a big assumption here. But assuming that you do like me and you like the Thrive Time Show, you can now go to thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources. That's thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources to download each and every book that I've ever written for free. You can download the ebook version of each and every book that I've ever written for free.
Clay, I just want to chime in here real quick. I don't like you or capitalism. I feel like we should all get free stuff.
Well, I am in the process of explaining where you can get free stuff. And you can now also download all the helpful infographics. There's infographics on Firing 101, the perfect hiring system, the principles from Ray Dalio, Internet Marketing 101, the Lead Bin Management System, Managing Humans 101, Logo Creation 101, Why Google Loves WordPress, Time Management 101. We also have an incredible infographic about the importance of calling your leads often, because the average person no longer answers their phone unless they are called multiple times and unless they receive a text from you. We also have the importance of File Nomenclature 101, Sales Lead Conversion 101, and much, much more. And it's all available for you to download for free right now by going to thrivetimeshow.com.
Are you suggesting that I should have to move my body?
Yes.
This is for free. Isn't there a way you could just beam it? I mean, why do I have to move my body?
Because-
typing causes me anxiety.
Whatever.
Which is why I would never go to thrivetimeshow.com.
Come on.
/free-resources. I would never go to thrivetimeshow.com /free-resources.
All right, let me clarify. If you have the capacity to move your fingers, go to thrivetimeshow.com /free-resources to download an ebook version of every single Amazon best-selling book I've ever written and all the infographics that have the power to change your life.